What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the coordinator. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever you might be watching this. I really appreciate you tuning in and your support and your understanding as I work through my kind of mobile office for this week. I really want to give a shout out in particular to people who are help sharing videos on this topic because I firmly believe it's you, the viewer. People who tweet out these videos covering it, people that will help, holding the feet to the fire over East Palestine. That is the only reason we got any help there. I just firmly believe that. If you agree, leave a like on the video. Like seriously, you all did this. You made sure that the people of East Palestine are getting the attention that the mainstream media seems so desperate to rob them of. Um, Without the immense public pressure and outcry, do you think CNN would have printed this? East Palestine residents worry now that rashes, headaches, and other symptoms may be tied to chemicals from the train crash. Now I'm starting to wonder. Now, obviously, I'm not saying this is true. I couldn't possibly know this, but was there something there that maybe even the people who decided to do the controlled burn didn't know about? Maybe there was something on those train cars that even the people who were trying to make the best decision at the time didn't know about. Of course, a lot of people, will roast me for being too forgiving or too white-pilled, but I just can't believe the way this is being handled, and it's like it's so difficult for me to just think, oh, President Biden's like, oh, sweet, I'm just gonna go visit Zelensky instead of my own voters, the own people that helped get me elected. Some residents of East Palestine, Ohio, say they have developed rashes, sore throats, nausea, and headaches after returning to their homes last week. And they're worried, that these new symptoms are related to perhaps the chemicals released from the train derailment a week ago. Imagine CNN writing this article before the immense pressure that you all put on the journalists. The incident happened all the way back on February 3rd, caused a massive fire and prompted officials to evacuate hundreds of people who lived near the site. And because, of course, there were fears of hazardous, highly flammable materials might ignite, to prevent a potentially worse incident, toxic vinyl chloride gas was vented and burned, releasing a plume of black smoke over the town for days. How exactly is this better than? I don't get it. What? How is this better? Now, other chemicals of concern at the site included phosgene and hydrogen chloride, which are released when vinyl chloride breaks down during the burning process, I imagine. And other things. According to the US EPA, all these chemicals can change when they break down or react to other things in the environment, creating a stew of potential toxins. But burn it, right? And then only evacuate like a mile around the site. What about the people that are 1 mile and 1 foot? I know you could say that's never ending, but it's like maybe go like 5 miles. I mean, it's like, or give people the option, like, hey, yeah, there's going to be this like toxic cloud. Um, we say, it's 5,200 feet away. You might want to move, but if you live 5,300 feet, then, you're totally fine. Or maybe you could just go. Now, residents were all given the all clear to return to their homes just 5 days later after the air monitoring in East Palestine did not detect any elevated levels. Officials say further testing of indoor air in about 500 homes has also not shown any hazards. Tests of tap water from municipal system did not show any chemicals at levels that would pose any kind of health hazard. Yeah, but what about all the farm animals and people's pets and things of that nature? You know, there is something to be said what is like mass hysteria or psychosomatic symptoms. People worry themselves into this. Um, but also, you also like, blew up train cars full of chemicals and didn't tell anybody about it. And then you had JD Vance down there the other day, just like rubbing a stick in a creek bed and releasing all these like a rainbow slurry of chemicals. I don't understand how I can see the chemicals with my own eyes in the water, and the EPA tells me that's safe levels when they're supposedly monitoring things down to like the micro unit. Quote, when we went back on the 10th, that's when we detected that we couldn't raise our kids, decided we couldn't even raise our kids here. Amanda Greathouse said, there was a terrible lingering smell that reminded me of hair perming solution. Greathouse said that she was back in their house about a block from the site for 30 minutes when she developed a rash and nausea. Now, maybe she's allergic. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. This is just her words. Susan, or whoever's in charge now. When we left, I had a rash on my skin and my arm, and my eyes were burning for a few days after that. And she has two preschool age students. She and her husband have returned to their home only twice since the derailment to pick up paperwork and clothing. The chemical smell was so strong that it made me nauseous, Greathouse said. I just wanted to quickly pick up what I needed and leave. I only took a few pieces of clothes because even the clothes smelled like chemicals, and I'm afraid to put them on my kids. She says she's also kept her children out of preschool since the derailment. Even though her son's teacher has promised that students are only using bottled water, she's worried about other types of contamination. I don't want to take my son out of the preschool they're in because I really like the teachers he has, but I'm still scared. Some teachers have even expressed concerns about the air quality. We are very fortunate that we rent our home. Didn't think I would ever say that. I feel awful for my landlord, but I just can't risk my family's health. Your landlord will be fine. Governor Mike DeWine said in a request for medical experts from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has been granted, probably only after Trump announced, by the way. And officials should be arriving early next week to help prop up clinics for patients. Oh, yeah, take your time, right? Let them sit and breathe it in for another week. We know the science indicates that the water is safe, the air is safe. The science also indicated that getting the poke would not spread it. Isn't that also the science? The science also indicated that what? Okay, anyway, the science. DeWine said he plans to set up a clinic where HHS officials and others will answer questions, evaluate symptoms, and provide medical expertise. I don't understand. Audrey DeSanzo would like some answers too. How safe is it really, said DeSanzo, who lives about a half mile from the derailment with her two grade school age children. It's not in all these people's heads that they're getting rashes, that they have conjunctivitis, they have pink eye from chemicals. You have a sore throat when you're staying here. It smells out here. After the derailment, I mean, if you could smell it, it's, a lot of, there's enough, like, you can't even smell natural gas, right? They add that scent in. So if you can smell it, you would think that there's more than like 1 in a zillion ppms out there. When she came home this week, DeSanzo said she even aired out her house, changed the furnace filter, washed the sheets and clothes. Even so, she says they all recently went to a local immediate care clinic because the kids were coughing and our throats were raw. Tests for strep throat were negative. The doctor prescribed cough medicine for the kids and told DeSanto that the chemicals were probably to blame. That's what the doctor said. The doctor she said she had seen a number of East Palestine residents with similar symptoms, DeSanzo said, and advised them to call poison control and go to the local hospital for a blood test. She hasn't gotten the blood test yet, though. Debbie Peterzak, told a spokesperson for Salem Regional Medical Center who runs the clinic DeSanzo went to confirmed that it had treated a small number of residents with symptoms like sore throats, respiratory problems. The hospital's ER has seen fewer than 10 patients from East Palestine, she said. I don't really know look at these hands. I mean, what the heck is going on? This is somebody who's 4 and has a rash on her hands. This is absolutely insane. And you have said, despite assurance, residents say they can't risk returning. You have rashes on kids' hands, sore throats. It's a debacle. Of course, Ohio train derailment reveals need for urgent reform. But yeah, isn't it funny how the government was always involved in these things after the fact? After we have a huge disaster that puts people's lives at risk. Again, you have before Ohio derailment, Norfolk Southern, who owns the train, lobbied against safety rules. It's insane. And then, of course, you have, this article here in Newsweek. Joe Biden may have handed Donald Trump a huge win with Ohio response. Heck yeah, he's going to, because in the belt here, in the Rust Belt, it's kind of been a battleground. Trump dominated it during the 2016 election, and then it was a much tighter race in 2020. When 2024 comes around, it's pretty like it's not that far away that people will remember this. Um, and you have President Joe Biden may have handed former President Trump a major win as his administration faces criticism over its handling the train derailment in Ohio. Trump will visit the town of East Palestine, Ohio, where the derailment occurred next week, with former president touting the trip on his Truth Social platform Saturday morning. The Biden administration has faced anger from local residents and criticism from many elected Republicans over its response to the incident. While neither Biden nor Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has even visited. This is this guy's job. You know why he's not going? He's afraid. Does anybody disagree with that? That's why he's not going. He's afraid. He's afraid he's going to get sick. For those two babies that he bought. He's a father. He doesn't want to get sick. But the people that live there, that's fine. He's fine, stepping down. This is the problem with all these. This is the problem with all these stupid appointments. People run for president, they get enough votes to where they get to say, "Oh, well, make me this, and then I'll step down and endorse you for president." That's how this works. And you get all these morons in charge of things who have no business doing that job. I mean, when Pete Buttigieg, he should have been on the ground that day. What else does he have to do? Ride his bike around? I mean, are you kidding me? And by the way, FEMA confirmed Friday that they will be providing assistance, but only after Trump said he was going. Isn't that a coincidence? I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though, right? I don't have my soundboard. Dang it. Coincidence. Did that doesn't really hit the same, does it? You see here, obviously, you have corporate media blackout. You have all sorts of people kind of not talking about this kind of stuff, ignoring it, as the people of East Palestine and the surrounding areas, and obviously the greater, Ohio waterways, the Mississippi River. Who knows how big this disaster is, but it sure seems like somebody's lying. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do leave a like on it. And videos on this topic, please, if you can, go the extra mile. Make sure you share it on social media and you subscribe down below so I can keep you up to date on all the latest developments with this.